Hi guys. Okay, so the next Rune Raker that he showed on this first video is the reflection of what I'm seeing as the reflection of true happiness. Okay, because I see this as being like it is Sigel. Okay, because there's Sigel. Okay, and it is like if you split it in half, it's like being on the water. Like it's the reflection. And I love that for these, there's a lot of ice and water and emotion coming up. Okay, perhaps these will all end up being runes in the cups. I don't know. But the reflection of true happiness, like the ladder that we have to climb to get to joy, and seeing the light and the dark within us. Okay, yeah, Sigel is the sun, right? So it's seeing the reflection of who we are and that divine happiness. Okay, yeah, there's on the dark and the light, like the dark side of this is that dependency, that emptiness, that aching, that hunger for what we want. On the light side, there's the fearlessness, the giving over, the release to know that we're like, right, it's okay, we're on the right path. And it's seeing this reflective energy. So tell me about this reflection of true happiness. Okay, the sun's reflection. Tell me about the sun's reflection. Okay. Seven of Swords. Where are we at when we're in the lunar cycle, right? When we've got the full moon in conjunction of, right, like opposition of the sun. And that's kind of what this symbolism is showing us. The full moon is the time of manifestation, okay, the time of release, right? The sword cutting off the head of this cup. Perhaps a recognizing of almost like a sort of self-absorption. Sometimes when we're filling our own cup, we're doing it at the expense of others, right? And Lord of Pentacles here, where there is, right, like a divine union, a divine purpose. And yet here this king is only like chasing after the monetary while leaving this divine purpose or this divine union sitting here with the Four of Wands, waiting and waiting, right? It's kind of reflecting on that bottom of the deck here, Two of Cups, right? Eventually rising up to acknowledge, and it's still under the full moon, right? There can be, like on the one side of the full moon where you're tired and fatigued, and then you get to the other side of the full moon, and then you see like what's coming. And I love, we've got the Dreamer of Cups here also, like, right, holding on to this new world that's created by that whole ritual of the moon, right? The full moon ritual. So the reflection of the sun with the full moon. Ooh, tell us about the sun's reflection. Okay. We've got the Chariot in reverse. Okay, you are not driving it. It is driven as it is meant to be, right? We don't tell the sun when to rise, the moon when to rise, right? It happens in its cycle that it created, the world, time, okay, outside of time. Like this was created, and when we start trying to manipulate it, we become very entangled in a real stubbornness, okay? But when we allow it, we're at peace, we're compassionate. There's that Queen of Cups, right? I'm compassionate, I've returned home. I'm in the waters. I'm no longer chasing after like the illusions and the chaos, and I'm just at peace in my home. Tell us here about the sun's reflection, okay? Yeah, the full in reverse. There really is no new beginning to the sun, right? The sun, we imagine that the sun is moving around the earth, but we are moving around the sun. Okay? So when we're like, oh, new day, well, that's a new day for us, but it's nothing in relationship to us for the sun, right? We don't know what the new day is for the sun. Like, we have no idea if the sun is somehow like rotating around some other universe. Like, we don't know any of that. But we create based on what we see reflectively, this idealism of new day, new beginning. I love that. Judgment, okay? Again, forgiveness here. The full moon, which is the reflection of the sun, allows us to reflect upon ourselves. Okay, allows us to reflect upon, and I love it because these trees are almost like very, like many, many vines of, what rune is that? It could be considered the water. It could be like many, many vines of lagoon. It really could be. Also of Answer, right? So let's see. Hold on one second, and I'm going to pull this up. Because if it's many, many, Answer is passive, right? Mercury, mouth, okay? The spoken word. So it really is about these trees in the background, right? Like understanding that the way that we're seeing them reflected in the water is placing heavily on us what we see as being our own story. And with the lagoon being the water, right? So we've got, again, if this would really be, right? Water, 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 and then it's reflected on the water by the moon. And it really is about, again, right, the amniotic fluid. Like, it's what we are living in until we are born into our true self. And so the reflection of the sun here is understanding that we are all slowly being born into our true self, okay? And the realization of what part of that is the illusion and what part of this is the reality. Okay, Knight of Swords, wearing the mask of the sun. Okay. And yet, here we also have the High Priestess, the messenger. Like there's that golden cord of love attached here. And the center of it all, that portal, right, is that heart center. And recognizing that the more we align ourselves with seeing love, which is very much what if you're going through the lessons of shamanism, okay, the Mune is the unconditional love. Like, this is clearing through the chaos and the clutter and the reflections to find that unconditional love. And for Wands, right? Like, growing into the sun, right? Growing so high that in this growth of celebration and that highest love, and I love at the bottom of the deck is the moon, which is still always, right, like kind of trying to hold us, its gravity, trying to pull us into that reflection, okay? But the Four of Wands, sometimes it's like we have grown so tall into the sun, and there's nothing that we have. We can't see the reflection anymore. Okay, we are just in that deep ass passion. All right, and sometimes that's just where we are at in all of this. And that too is part of, right, the sun's reflection. Like, where are you overly just passionate, right? Nine of Gardens. But the sun makes everything grow. And with the growth and the transformation, like, things bloom, right? We see things differently in the light than we see it in the dark. And it's in that light where we can read things differently and learn more about ourselves. Okay, but there's also the idea of what happens when a volcano, right, meets an ocean. And there is, right, that is the fire of the core of the earth. It's almost like it's sending smoke signals to the sun. Like, here I am, right? I am as strong and as powerful as you in my own way. And sometimes I will show you that I am as powerful, right? And other times I will just patiently wait to see what next path you will illuminate. Temperance, Wheel of Fortune. Okay? So let's pull out the Animal Oracle. The Tiger, okay, who is jumping out of the water. All right? And this is the card of Temperance, okay? And this is about our will. And there's a woman riding on it, but we also have the Hindu goddess behind her. Okay? And I don't want to say the wrong goddess name. So this is Durga, the fierce warrior goddess, okay, riding on the tiger. And this is her in this reality and her higher self, okay? And she has many arms and is always brandishing a variety of weapons and attacking the buffalo demon Mahisha, okay? So Durga is seen as a motherly goddess, okay? And she unleashes her divine wrath against the wicked for the liberation of the oppressed and entails destruction to empower creation. Very, very interesting that this comes out, because if the reflection of the sun, okay, Father Son, the reflection of the sun is the fierce will of the divine feminine, which is pretty darn cool. All right. So, I'm going to leave it at that. I'll do the other one. I'm going to go eat lunch. And then I feel like my OCD will probably force me to finish, because I'll want to go watch Russell's video and see what his take on everything was. And I need some more tea. All right, guys. Bye.